Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid. I got a couple more episodes coming at you. Turn 17 for middle-aged Atlantis, and yeah, we've got a battle in Umidor. We're attacking Horse Tribe, so let's see how big Shamblers do. One second, had to put my headphones on. That's like one of the most important things when you're recording is you do not listen to the game through your speakers. Okay, especially for these battles. So this is why I was a little scared. We have shields, so that's nice. But these guys have 17 defense and pretty high attack, and they get a lance charge. So their first hit is gonna hurt, and we don't have really great attack, so we're actually gonna have a hard time hitting them. I mean, they also just have decent protection. And they have a shield too, so there's a good chance with their defense they're going to get to use that shield. Now the shield isn't too great, it's only 14, but... the good thing is we have 2 Holy 3, so our prophet damage is not insignificant, or our smite damage. And with our bless, we are more likely to pass that rather poor MR check that we have to do. But you can see we're actually doing okay. We're not hitting super often, but we're hitting often enough. And when we hit, we kill them, and when they hit, they tickle us. So, you know, I guess that's okay. Can't really complain with that. So, it looks like we're gonna win. I think we took some losses, though, because we certainly got hit a few times. They try to run, but they can't. Okay, so... we got... a lot of them killed. Yeah, we killed 9 of them, which is not an insignificant amount, just by our smite casting. And probably weakened some more after that we didn't kill. Why that's significant is that's like half as much as the rest of my guys. So this was an extremely important part of my damage component, was smite. Oddly, this guy killed way more. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think they both got blessed. It could have been... Let's just watch it again real quick, see if he got blessed. Yeah, we did do Divine Blessing. Okay, so he must have just gotten luckier. But, yeah, so we lost some Ichthids. We lost one of these shitty guys. And then we only lost 3 of our good units. That's not bad. That's really as good as I could have hoped it to go. Now the question is, what do we do? Our scout situation has spotted this, which is not... We're not very excited about this. I'm thinking this group is probably going to move here, so I'm going to move this scout here. Now, I know Ryla has an army here. He's defending this. We've been in some communication. And, yeah. I want to see the battle if there is one. Now, if I stay here, then I would see the battle if Relay attacks, but Relay's not going to attack. And if he patrols, which is possible, then I'd lose my scout. So I figure, let's move him here. There's also an army attacking up this way. I think it might have moved here this turn, but we're going to follow this way with our scout. Let's see what else. Got a hiccup, sorry. We got an Amazon, we got some pearls and fire gems, and we found a magic site. A meteor has fallen. A lot of times this comes from a worldwide event, but you can see we got, I guess, a lesser meteor, which has killed 200 people, 250 people. Like, who cares about that? I get 2 gems. This is awesome. Awesome! How many people? Yeah, 290. Look at that. Totally 1,000% worth it. So, this is super good. It means my... Did we find anything? It means my my Earth income is now up to 3, which is a very solid early game base Earth income. Getting your income up early is a really big deal. Like, for the things you get at the beginning, it's going to kind of have payoffs later, because you have a much better chance at getting one of the kind of income-generating globals, or a lot of times it's easier to site search once you get your gem income going earlier. So anyway, this is all important. We're also going to need it potentially for forging gear on our pretender. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'm not sure what we're going to do here. Right now we're just patrolling. There's a ton of unrest. There's probably an unrest site. I'm not sure what it is. We're going to have to figure out what it is. You can site search for blood. There's some blood ones. I don't know what all the unrest sites are. I would have to go search. But, like, the Brigand layer is probably the most common one. But I don't know if the Brigand layer is going to get it that high. Like, that is really high unrest. And to recruit any of these guys, I'm going to have to get it under 100. So we're going to have to figure out what we do here. I'm not sure. And then a worldwide event. There's an arena coming up. I thought about going to an arena, but really, there's nobody that I can afford to lose. The only one might be my prophet. He might be worth sending, but I don't really want the stuff from the arena, and I'd rather just have my prophet, because he can get sucked back into the arena at any time. And then I think everybody else would basically just be dying. Like, maybe a Shambler could win. Don't know. Okay, so, did we have anything else finished or anything? No. Okay, so we're upgrading this to a fortress this turn. We're researching here. We don't have enough money to recruit out of this one. This guy will be getting our first King of the Deep next turn, which would be really nice. We're still continuing to crank these guys out, and these guys... I really do wish I didn't screw up on my bless. I think having magic weapons would have made these guys super niche, and I'm also not sure about... I don't know. Reinvigoration is nice, and it's good all around. Yeah. I mean, this is a good all-around bless. It's going to be good on heavy infantry. But I kind of wish I took, like, Earth Shock Resistance or something, which in some ways is better. But we have what we have. It's a very weird build I've done here. But this is why we did it. We did it because I want to have... If your troops suck... Well, there's a few things. We've already talked about this some. But if your troops suck... In the mid-game, how are you going to kill armies? Because in the mid-game, you're going to be really reliant on your troops. Like, your mages will be there, but they're, like, more supportive. In the late game, your mages can be a bigger deal. And, of course, this is broad generalizations, but we need something so that we can mess with people in the mid-game. Like, we can't just sit here in our pond all game. And this guy is going to mess with people good. We need to think about what items we're going to put on him. This will be a Ring of Regen. Ideally, this is an Amulet of the Fish. Then this might be... Probably going to do a Vine Shield. And then after that... I'm not totally sure. Repel is an option when you have this many hands. So you could do, like... Especially underwater, which is going to be... I think we're going to conquer this lake system before we get down to that. So, like a Ring of Regen. Then we're going to need probably like one of the little fire attack amulets if we wanted to do Repel. And then we could get some long weapons. And that would be okay. Problem is... his guys have really good defense, and Repel's generally good against things with crappy defense. So Repel's not going to work terribly well against Pelagio. Now, what we probably do want to do is have things that will go through defense. So things like, you know, a Magma Scepter, or a Firebrand, or there's a bunch of things. So anyway, any of those potentially could be pretty good. And we could even get 2 of those and then throw in a second shield, like an Eye Shield. And this guy with an Eye Shield and a Vine Shield, and then 2 AoE weapons would be pretty he'd be pretty good. Anyway, so that's all just kind of theory, like what we're thinking about. There's a lot of ways to do it, but it is not too hard to get him where he can kill armies. And in fact, we're going to demonstrate that for the first time this turn. So we're going to have a fluffer come in and do quickness. And then our script is going to be Iron Skin and then Body Ethereal. These are the two that are going to give him the most survivability right off the bat. And then Tempered Flesh is going to give him the next amount of most, I think. Or the next amount most. This is going to basically cut damage by a third. I mean, down to a quarter. This is going to cut it again by half. This is going to reduce it probably even by more than all that. And then Earth Might is going to be nice because it's going to make it where these things do significantly more damage. So they'll basically be guaranteed to one-hit kill everything, each tentacle. And then attack. I had thought about doing Luck, but whatever, we're not doing it. Luck is really just for the off chance that I get a bleeding wound or whatever you call it. So, I think with this much, our chance of getting one of those is going to be based on the damage dealt to us relative to our HP. So this is going to be in my Dominion, which is nice. We're going to have a ton of buffs up, which are going to make it take very little damage. We don't have regen or anything, but we're not going to need it. I don't think they're going to have a really hard time hurting us. The thing I'm really worried about, though, is water elemental, or not really. I'm a little worried about is water elementals. If they don't even summon water elementals, it probably would be easier. Like, I probably could have done it without Alt 4, even. Like, just with Iron Skin. But with water elementals, those things are serious business for super combatants. They can, I mean, 4 high damage armor piercing attacks can do some work. Okay. So I think that's basically it. We're moving up here. This army, we have decided is going to come for Pelagia. So we're going to start moving up. Now the question is, when could I end my nap? So, like, if we're going to go here, let's say the number of turns until I would issue an attack order on him. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we want to attack here, it will be 5, I think. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in 2 turns, we could issue an attack order and we'll come up this way. Or we could end our nap, and then in 3 more turns after we end our nap, we can attack. Probably what I'm going to do. But we'll see. Some of this is going to depend on the timing with things up here. Ideally for me, there's 2 things. One is, like, this army's pretty close to me. Ideally, it gets all the way to Ryla's cap, or gets destroyed. If this army gets destroyed or gets close to Relay's cap, I'm going to just declare war immediately. He's got a pretty solid cap here of 500 defense. If Relay even doesn't kill it, but does a significant amount of damage to it, I can put enough pressure on Pelagia that he's going to have to pull back before he can take Relay's cap, I think. Yeah, so that's my goal, I think, is to... yeah. Is to wait a little bit. I'm trying to time it. I want Pelagia to commit. Like, right now, he's being very conservative. He's doing some raiding, taking some land. He's not doing a heavy commitment in the war against Relay. And as soon as he does that heavy commitment, I'm gonna end my nap with him. Because the thing is, Relay's actually far better suited, I think, to fight this guy underwater with his troops. My god is kind of a different story, but I can only use him in my Dominion. So anyway, that is basically the plan for this turn. This army here is going to come down to my cap. We're going to pick up these Mother Guard, and then we're going to head down and clear out all this stuff. So this army is not going to be available to help with Pelagia. Which, anyway. The other thing which is kind of funny is we're going to be rebidding these mercs, which only have 6 units left. We're going to bid them for 31 pounds, or for 31 gold. My thinking is that, I don't know if this is the case. I don't think. I have no idea if you can get items off mercs when they die in battle. If you can, we're going to try to suicide this guy and just hope we can turn 30 gold into a faithful. Because this actually would be a really good item to put on my Pretender chassis. So hopefully we get that, and then we'll stick it on him. Anyway, that's basically the plan. Don't know if I have too much more for you guys. We'll go ahead and pull up the next turn. Okay. Only I could click quickly. Here we go. Here's the next turn. We get a message from Man. Oh, I had sent a message to Man saying, hey, what's any update on your Amulet of the Fish? I'm afraid the war has left my mages on the field and in a hurry to research combat magic. My estimate I'll reach construction for sometime around turn 25. So I could probably... I didn't send him a message back. I should probably send him a message and just say, great, please keep us posted. We will be purchasing the first player who can forge it and will pay some significant profit to them. And our price will give them a very nice profit. Okay. And then I'll put best of luck in your war. I don't actually... Who is he fighting? Signed, Mr. Hands. Okay, so... I don't actually know who Man is fighting, to be honest. I don't even really know where he is on the map, but that's fine. He's not near me. That's kind of all I need to know at the moment. Okay, we have a battle first, and we'll click through. We can see we got a gold event. Yes! So, here's the Thorn Province. We've seen it before. The real threat here is the mages, and then these are reasonably high-quality troops. So this guy cast Quickness and he ran. Now there's a chance he could die, I think, in the retreat. But we have a few we own a few of the surrounding provinces, so it's maybe less likely. Temper Flesh. So we've gotten three of our things off before the night's close. Okay, and I think they have a... Do they have a lance? No, they don't. Okay, they're casting Water Strike. It does not look like they're summoning water elementals, so it seems we're safe. I don't know why. They should. They have, like, this guy definitely has all the things he needs. He's Water 3 with 4 water gems. I don't know why he wouldn't. They're now doing Sleeping Cloud, which is putting his own guys to sleep. My guy has pretty high MR, so he's probably not going to fail the sleep MR check. Okay, we got hit with cold, and that's not good. So give us a little bit of fatigue, but you can see we're very fatigue neutral, because we've got 2 reinvigoration, plus the 1 that's kind of built into the game. And we only have 1 encumbrance, so we're going to get out of that in a hurry. Our fatigue did pile up a little bit while we were on this kind of chilled effect. Yeah, it's gonna go up a little bit again. Why is it not going down very quickly? I'm not sure. I was thinking it would go down a good bit faster than it did. I'm not sure what happened here. But anyway, I mean, we're not high fatigue. In a bigger fight, it could be more important. So, okay, we killed most of their stuff. Retreat details. We successfully retreated. Excellent. I just wanted to be doubly safe. I did not want to risk losing my Pretender, because if I lose my Pretender, I'm in some deep shit. I mean, let's not lie about that. I basically cannot go to war with Relay when I want to if I lose my Pretender. Okay, there was some battles in the arena. We'll just check these out super quick. Okay, we have a pole mark. I think that's what this is. Oh no. The Locos. Versus just a shitty wounded Jarl. I guess that was the thought. Okay. Not terribly surprising. Let's see if Arco brought anything better. No, just a mounted commander. So that guy's gonna win. Okay, so he got the Champion's Trident, which actually is a pretty solid little item. So that guy will be pretty useful now. Okay, our scout got discovered, unfortunately, by Relay. There was not a battle. If there was a battle, they wouldn't have discovered our scout. We see his Pretender. So, he's got Fire Shock and Cold Resistance. Not bad. built-in poison resistance too, so he's immune to all the elements. He also has built-in regen and fear, and his earth magic plus his high base protection get him up to a very nice 20 natural protection, so he could expand very well with this guy. And he's amphibious, so he can get on land. Unfortunately, he already has weakened and Never Healing Wound, so he's a good bit weaker than... Never Healing Wound's kind of a dick punch if you've got regen, because it's going to lower your regen, in addition to just lowering your overall HP threshold. Yeah, and that's going to be really hard for him to get off his relay. So, I don't think this... I would never build relay this way. I think if you watch my own game, that's basically... I was going to play relay, and I was actually going to do pretty close to the exact same build he did. Same pass, maybe a slightly different bless. But, yeah, he certainly is doing pretty well with it. Okay. So that's that. But after playing against it, I don't wish that on anybody. Okay, so we have conquered this, and this is a very high income province, which we're very happy with. We're going to be building a rock wall here. We're moving in a commander to go ahead and take over construction. I want to... The timing on this is really important, because I want to have this finished by the time my nap expires with Pelagia. To do that, I need to start now. After this, we have a few things we can do. We can site search this province. We can claim the Throne of Life, which is pretty good. We already have Growth 3, so we don't benefit from that, but it's 3 Nature Gems, and it's going to spread Dominion too. So that's actually pretty solid for us, just in the sense that it's potentially, especially with our God sitting here for a few turns, going to push our Dominion into this province. And what that means is that we can attack with our God on top of it. And that's something we like a lot. Yeah. So anyway, that's... Pretty happy with that. We're site searching here with this dude. This guy's gonna move here too and preach. We just want to get our Dominion all through here. My prophet's gonna preach here until he can't preach anymore, then he'll probably move up here and preach. And that will just spill our Dominion into these lands. And that... Our war with Pelagia is really going to be largely based off Dominion. Now, I talked with Relay, and so here's where my guy died. His army, which was here, apparently they moved here. Which actually, looking at it, is a bit of a weird move. Or no, they were here. His big army was here. What was it? Let's see where it was. No, his big army was right here. Oh, okay, I see. I was trying to make sense of it, I understand now. It's like, that doesn't make any sense why he would move there. But now, I understand. So, Relay has basically a big PD dump here. Like, if we look at it, this is a fair amount of PD, like 30 or 40. He's got a lot of PD here, and Pelagia doesn't want to risk pushing into it. So what he did was he moved this way. And he's like, okay, you've wasted a ton of PD here, we're going to go in a different way. So, this army has moved up here, and this is Relay's capital. This army's moved here. This little raiding squad has been going up this way. And it's like 20 Sacred Knights, so it's not chump change. What Relay thinks he's going to do, it moved here to here. It can't move from here all the way to here, which is where Relay raided to cut off income from these provinces. He thinks he's going to move here this turn to re-establish income tracing and to put a check on Relay's capital. At the same time, he thinks this little raiding squad is going to move here. And if it moves here, then he can potentially check it with both his troops. I don't think this army is going to come on. I think with this much open territory back here, there's no way it's going to move on top of that cap. I think really it's probably going to come up this way. I might tell him. But it's possible he decides if he's going to gamble everything and barely win, he's going to gamble everything and barely win and get on top of his cap. For me, I don't even necessarily care. I want them to A, have a fight before I do a nap. But B, I want this army to be as far away from me as possible. So if it moves over this way, that's fine. Because then it's going to be a significant ways away from me. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces away from attacking me. I mean, I could potentially... Well, I don't know. Maybe it needs to be a little farther. I really need him to fight. We'll see. So, I want to go ahead and take the pressure off Relay too. Like, I could, and I thought about ending my nap with Pelagia this turn. Thing is, if I do that, he's going to start splitting up his army and coming back to me. On one hand, that's okay, because Relay's going to push in, and then we can probably both pick him apart. On the other hand, there's a couple things that are wrong. One is my timing is bad for my fort. I want to go ahead and get this fort up. We've got 5 months left. If I do it next turn or turn after, it'll be much safer than doing it now. Like, they're not going to win a fight attacking into my god, but I want to be able to move my god other places, and I would only like to have, like, if my nap ends and he has 1 turn and he can choose to attack me where my god is on top of my fort building, because he's going to have a lot of little things to do here, site search and claim the throne and all this other stuff, and then maybe research, because we're going to build a lab, or maybe he builds a lab, I don't know. But if he's got all this other stuff to do, then it's very likely he may be here as the fort's finishing and our nap's expired. Highly unlikely he's going to attack my god. So what does that mean? It means that basically, ideally, my Dominion's going to push here when our nap ends. My god moves onto his fort at the same turn. So basically, he can't check this, is what I'm saying. So I think it's worth waiting. And ideally, the best case scenario is these two have a fight. And I don't really care what happens. I mean, just being I don't know, Machiavellian in a way. Like, I don't really care what happens to Relay. Like, ultimately, Relay and I are not going to live in the same pond in peace, I don't think. I'm not determined to go to war against him, but he has a ton of underwater stuff. And I think it would make a ton of sense for me, too, after Pelagia. But we are both certainly allied to get Pelagia killed. And we'll have to see how we divide up territory and stuff. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how this goes down. But either way, it's very much in my interest that they at least have one significant fight before I go into war. Now, if Pelagia attacks Relay and just Pelagia gets slaughtered, that's fine. If Pelagia attacks Relay and completely slaughters Relay, I don't really want that. I would probably rather them not fight, but I don't think that it's possible. Okay, it's possible. I don't think it's likely that Pelagia will slaughter Relay so hard that that Relay's not going to have a chance at, like, even doing significant damage to the army. And honestly, what I think, yeah, if Relay, like, even loses but kills 75% of Pelagia's army, he's going to win the war, because I'm going to push in, I'm going to immediately end my nap. He'll be able to pick off these raiders eventually. He'll get some of Pelagia's old territory, and I'll probably get most of Pelagia's territory, but he'll get a fair amount. One thing he mentioned to me that I should do too, because we were kind of talking about strategy a little bit, I told him I'm going to be relying on my Dominion a lot. Like, I want to fight in my Dominion, so I'm going to be trying to push it. I didn't tell him why, because my god, but he probably can figure that out. So anyway, I was like, I'm going to do that and kind of push, but my army, like, these guys, like, he could just do a PD dump on this army and kill it. So my army is not strong enough to just, you know, roll up on Pelagia's cap. We're going to have to pick them apart a little bit. But he said Pelagia can't really... and I knew that, but I guess I misread the thing. But, where the hell is Pelagia? These guys, for whatever reason, I seem to have thought they were amphibious. Maybe it was from looking at the mod inspector. These guys are amphibious and they're sacred, so you can benefit from their bless on land. But you can't, you have to choose which one you build, and these guys are way better underwater. So, net effect, yeah, I can go and raid these islands and do a pretty good job controlling them. So, like, if I move a big army here, he's probably going to have to defend his capital, then I can move it here, right? And then I can move it here. And he won't really be able to do much. So, having these 2 islands would be pretty nice, because that's kind of like permanent, and then I can choose... They give me a lot of flexibility to raid from, because I can kind of jump on and off of them and take stuff out. So... and I can also do a PD dumps on the island. And he's not going to have things... Like, he has stuff that can chew through PD underwater. But he's going to have a lot harder time fighting lots of PD on islands. Okay, so I think we've talked about most of the stuff this turn. Oh, we got our first King of the Deep. And it's an Earth one, which actually is super good, because these are the best underwater thugs. Now, we'll just go ahead and script this guy up. He can get Summon Water Power. And then he can do Quicken Self. Or no. Okay, we're not Conjuration 3. Once we're Conjuration 3, he's going to do Summon Earth Power too. So he can do like Summon Water Power, Summon Earth Power. We'll just put... I'll just do that again and we'll replace it later. Then he can do Iron Skin. Then he can do Quicken Self. And then he can do... And actually, you know, it's probably worth it to get rid of this. We'll probably just replace it with Summon Earth Power. We don't really need the Water Power. It's more for casters. Temper Flesh. And then Water, we have to choose, but I think Ice Shield is probably our best bet here. It's gonna... Basically, it's kind of like Air Shield, which is the Earth Air spell. But anyway, yeah, we're basically... This guy's gonna be... really hard to kill. And his base encumbrance is pretty low. So, yeah, he can be fatigue neutral pretty easily with just this. Better for fighting underwater, because he gets, you know, like the encumbrance reduction. We can put... Yeah, I mean, we have to figure out how we're going to gear him. I haven't exactly thought through all that. I don't know how well we can do it at Construction 2. We may need to really focus on Construction 4. But honestly, this guy right now can be a raider. So it's going to be kind of hard to justify keeping him in the lab for 15 research when we can raid. So highly likely when the war starts, we pull him out. I probably, if we think of... Yeah, we'll see. What are my research priorities? We're going to finish Conjuration 3. Then we're going to hit... Do I really need... Yeah, 3 will be nice. We're going to hit Conjuration 3. That should also open up Flame Jellies. I don't know, that's at 4. We're going to ping Construction 2 real quick. Then we're going to finish Conjuration 6. At least that's what I'm thinking at this moment. Now, risks... Okay, reasons I may not want to do that. Astral 3 for Teleport can be game-winning. So, am I really going to go to Conjuration 6 without getting Astral 3? I don't think there's any freaking way I can justify that. So I think Voice of Tiamat is a major target for me. Conjuration 3 is nice. Probably better. That will let me use that other guy as a thug, whereas before I can't really. So I think this is what we're going to have to do, actually. Thom 3, and then we're going to run up to Conjuration 6. What this is going to do is once I have a lab built here, I need to get like a little scouting network out. Don't have any freaking scouts. Kill me. Kind of sucks there aren't... Like, underwater has some weird things about it. It's hard to keep your dominion underwater once land gets established with temples everywhere. There's no freaking underwater scouts. Yeah, bitch, 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 bitch. Okay, so... but anyway, once I have a lab here, I ideally need a scouting network. But, you know, honestly, just having these islands will give me a good amount of information about most all of Pelagia's lands. So when I have those, I can then, if he ever gets his army stuck out in the open, I can send my my pretender on him. I don't think there's anything else here for me in particular. Yeah, not really. So anyway, that's basically it. But I think thanks to that gold event, we're able to get another King of the Deep under construction. He's really going to research. This one will probably end up being a Thug, just because it's the best of the Thug chassis. I do need to think about the gear for it, though. But the gear is going to come soon with construction, too. What I'm going to actually do... Well, no. I think the next episode we'll talk about it. I'm going to take a look real quick. Actually, maybe I can combine these. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the mod inspector. We'll do it together. See you in a second. Hey, okay. We have the mod inspector pulled up. And let's take a quick look. So I've got it filtered for fire, water, earth, and astral, which really, we can't make fire stuff yet, but we could have access to it, so we'll go ahead and look at it. Let's see what we can make. First, let's do generic only. And we've got it filtered to construction too. So let's go ahead and do one-handed weapon, because there's a lot of this we can't make. So here are the one-handed weapons, which we probably want a one-handed weapon, though you could make a case for a two-handed weapon potentially. So if we... These are all kind of crap, except maybe like the Enchanted Spear, which has pretty good stats, and it's pretty long, so we get a repel check, but we don't really want to go for repel versus those knights. So Flame Sword would not be bad, because that, I think, will negate defense. Coral Blade, not so great, though it's got decent base stats. The Eye Catcher is armor negating, which we don't necessarily care about, and we take a big attack penalty, which is not going to be good versus them. Faithful, this would be nice for affliction resistance, and it's got really good stats. So Faithful is definitely one we would potentially want as one of our items. Ice Mist Scimitar could be good. It's got a lingering... okay, maybe it's not lingering, but it's an AoE 1. This is better against thugs, but it will basically make people fatigue out if they sit in front of you for a long time. But we're probably going to kill things too fast for that to be really good. This is going to be super high value. Mace of Eruption. So that is definitely up there. Main Gauche of Parrying would be pretty nice. Now, if we get surrounded, which we will, I do not believe we are unsurroundable. And so then we will get a big harass penalty. So I don't know if... But with Ethereal, we'll get basically a quarter of it. But they do have some magic attacks. Their little horn. So, anyway, this is an option. Scepter of Authority, no. Smasher, no. Star of Heroes, I think they have shields. But we take a defense penalty. Probably don't want that. Stinger, kind of nice. It's armor piercing, which is kind of good, and we get a repel, but we don't really need that. So I think looking at it, that's the two one-handed. Let's just check the two. I don't think there's going to be a reason we would want to do this. Yeah, there's not. So if we go back to the one-handed, I think Faithful's in, and then I think ideally 2 Maces of Eruption. That would be ideal. But we could also throw in... The other thing about this that's nice is we get 10 cold resistance, which 5 is good for most things. There's not a lot of cases where you need higher than 5 early in the game. So we could stick with 2 Maces of Eruption. Or we could do like a Faithful, a Mace of Eruption, and a Main Gauche of Parrying. And that would be pretty solid. So anyway, these are options, and then I think ideally for shields, or let's take a look at the shields with the same situation here. The Ice Aegis would be okay. We would get basically 1 additional protection just due to the ice aura or the ice thing it gives you. All these other ones aren't really going to be good. A lot of the good shields are going to be nature and stuff like that. So we're a little bit blocked out of, I think, the shields for the moment. I don't think we need these. Ultimately, we'll load up we might do a test game if there's a big army to fight. But I'm pretty sure... I don't know. It's a mix. I think a lot of Dominions is you like knowing what you know and what you don't know is important. So versus a lot of things, I'm going to be really like I don't need to test because I have pretty good intuition on it by now. But then like it's important to know when you need to test, and I might load up a test skin for it. But I think even with just some basic items like these, probably like a faithful, maybe even 2 main gauches of parrying, and a mace of eruption, I think I would just murder everybody. Like an army of people. So, yeah. I mean, ultimately counters can come out, but they're going to be pretty tough. The things that I really need that I don't have yet are going to be an Amulet of the Fish, so I can go basically eat a land nation if I need to, and a Ring of Regeneration, which is going to be super important underwater. Ring of Regeneration is Construction 4, so yeah. So, and we do have those Amazons, but they're locked in by unrest. So if we patrol it down and we build a lab there, we can deal with. Okay, we could basically. We need to do it too because we really need to site search nature underwater. It's one of the most important things to site search underwater. You're in an area big enough to be a single underwater nation. Usually, you'll find one free fort. So that in and of itself is a good reason to do it. Plus, we just want to get some nature income. So anyway, we have talked about it, but I think that's an idea of what we're going to forge. So see you guys on the next episode.